Hello, teachers, parents, and educational leaders, and welcome to this episode of Breaking Down the B.E.S.T. Now, during this episode, you will get a peek into the members-only area where I have tons of resources to help you make math fun, make it click, and make it stick. There should be a link somewhere around this video where you can learn more. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's get to it, and let's break down the standard. Welcome to Breaking Down the B.E.S.T, a video series dedicated to breaking down Florida's best standards for math. So grab something to write with and maybe even a snack. This looks good. And don't forget to put a smile on your face. There you go, I see you. And let's dive into today's best standard. Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Sarah McCarthy and I am super pumped that you are joining me today on this episode of Breaking Down the B.E.S.T, where today we are going to break down the standard MA.3.AR.2.2. MA, that stands for math, 3 stands for third grade, AR stands for algebraic reasoning, and 2.2 is our standard that we're working on today. Okay, this standard says to determine and explain whether an equation, which means there's an equal sign present, involving multiplication or division is true or false. Love this. I actually got really pumped when I saw this standard when I was analyzing these lots of months ago, many moons ago. So here's an example where they say, okay, you're given an equation because there's an equal sign, and that this equation is true because we're finding the left side, the value of the left side, by dividing the numbers and multiplying the numbers on the right side to see that both sides are equivalent to 9. And this is the kind of think aloud that is expected with this standard. So not only do they need to determine the values on both sides, they need to explain, just like the example, explain why an equation would be true or false, okay? So that we're working with multiplication and division only, so we shouldn't be seeing adding and subtracting or anything else, just multiplication and division. And also that the problems are limited to 3 or 4 terms. 3 terms would be something like this: 9 equals 3 times 3. I've just highlighted the 3 terms. And something with 4 terms would look like the example: 27, 3, 3, and 3. Those are 4 terms. And that the product or the quotient can be on either side of the equal sign. So make sure we're varying it up there. And also, of course, to keep it within 12 for our factors with multiplication. All right, so connecting benchmarks. MA.3.AR.2.2 is plotting, ordering, and comparing numbers. And at first I was like, why is this a connecting benchmark? I don't understand. And then I thought about it, and in that benchmark we're talking about equal or not equal, whether values are equal or not equal. And basically that's what we're doing at the end. We're solving both sides of the equation and determining, are they equal or not? So MA.1.3 totally connects. So good job, Florida Department of Education. Which, by the way, the Florida Department of Education creates this document right here that I'm marking up all over. They create it and give it out to the public so that you can analyze the standards and the intention of the standards, just like I'm doing in this video. So I did not make this, but I definitely analyze these to create the resources available for taking on the B.E.S.T. Some other connecting benchmarks would be our NSO 2.2 and 2.4, which are focusing on multiplying and dividing. 3.AR.1.2, 1-step and 2-step real-world problems, again focusing on that multiplication and division aspect. Some terms that you need to know: equation means that we have an equal sign. An expression is the portion of an equation that does not include the equal sign. And I often say that the expression is not looking at the equal sign. It's what is not there. So this is an equation up here, but it does contain the expression 27 divided by 3. It does contain the expression 3 times 3, so we're just focusing on that part without the equal sign. And equal sign, too, is apparently an important term for you to know, so there's that. For vertical alignment, we did in second grade, your second graders had true and false equations with adding and subtracting, so they should be coming up to you with some knowledge there. And in fourth grade, we have true and false with all 4 operations. So in third grade, just multiplication and division, but in fourth grade, we rock out all 4. Super fun. All right, for this section, the purpose and instructional strategies, some things that popped out at me were that we are extending the understanding of the meaning of the equal sign in multiplication and division equations. Teaching students that the equal sign can be read as the same as to show the balance of 2 multiplication and or division expressions. And we should be wording it like this for students, talking about that word balance, talking about it being the same as. If the equation is balanced, it's true, and if it's not balanced, then it is false. Here they should justify. That's where the explaining aspect comes in. And note that the purpose of this is not to compare, but just to determine if it's true or false. So we don't need to worry about using any equality signs like this. Just, is it equal? Like that, then it's true. Is it not equal? Then it is false. So those are the signs that we would be focusing on for this standard. For the common misconceptions and errors, I love that they pointed this out. Products and quotients on the left side. So this can be a little bit confusing for students where we have our product, in this case, on the left side because students are used to seeing it like this. But it's important that they see that they can also, that the equal sign is just a balance. And so 3 times 6 does equal 18. And so this equation is then balanced. This will give you, I'm not going to go through all of this right here, but I would, as a teacher, I would read through all of this just to see if I could use any of the tips to help me. I love that they're adding this new section there. And here are some tasks that you can check out. And here I wrote down that this is wordy and full of vocabulary, but it is important. They need to know what expressions mean. They look at the word quotient. They'll have the word products and values and true and false, and they just have to be able to really tackle it and look at each answer choice, which we will definitely take a look at with taking on the B.E.S.T. Okay, that's it for going over the standard from the Department of Education. Let's take a look at what you have access to with your Taking on the B.E.S.T membership. So I'm on the website. Go into members, enter here. Taking on the B.E.S.T, third grade, algebraic reasoning, so the AR strand. And we are looking at 3.AR.2.2, true or false equations with multiplication and division. So with your membership, you should be able to access all of this. All right, so let's see. We've got 2 video lessons for the bronze resources. The silver and the gold also have access to this membership or this page as well. So for the first video, we're doing true or false equations with multiplication and division with 3 terms. And in the next video lesson, we bump it up to 4 terms. So you can see here, if we zoom into what the page looks like, we've got the 3 terms. See that? And then for the other one, 4 terms. And it says explain why. So not only are we determining if it's true or false, we're also explaining why it would be. By the way, you can share these video lessons. So if this is something that you want to send off to your students, you can send them the link. I just want to be upfront with you that a lot of counties will block Vimeo, which is where this video is coming from. But you do have the ability to download it right there, so you can try that out. But that's what you have access to with the bronze. With the silver, you have more resources at your fingertips. So let's take a look at that. You have, of course, this math misconception mystery video, and we'll find out what the problem is in these printables. So here are your printables for this standard for 3.AR.2.2. This video icon means that it's a video lesson and we walk through it. And then you have extra practice right there. So whatever we talked about in the video, students can record their notes there, and then they have extra practice with that same skill on their own. Here's a video lesson with 4 terms, extra practice. And then here is the math mission where we're throwing everything together in a math task, a math mission. So here it says, use the cards below to complete each task. You can use the cards more than once. Place the numbers in the cards below to create an equation that is false. Explain how you know it is false. So we're taking the cards and placing them into the blank spots, and then creating something that on purpose is false, and then explaining how we know it's false. And then doing that same thing with numbers that are true and explaining why it's true. This is the math misconception mystery problem. This is what students will solve on their own. So what you do is you just click play, and I will take you through the entire process. You just pause the video when I tell you to. But basically, students will solve this either independently or with a group. And then after they've solved it, they will watch as 4 characters solve that same problem. 3 of those characters will make mistakes that students commonly make, and only one of them has it correct or has solved it correctly. Those characters are just me, dressed up in silly costumes with silly voices, having fun, and then this is your detective report to fill out afterwards, which the answer key provides my copy of the detective report, so you can kind of see how to gauge the discussion, which, by the way, these videos produce wonderful math discussions, so definitely take advantage of these if you have that silver or gold plan. Let's take a look at the gold plan. If you have the gold plan, you have your mini assessment. So here's a variety of question types that you can use. Again, it doesn't say mini assessment, it just says show what you know. So if your county provides you with assessments that you need to take, you can just use this as extra practice. Okay, variety of question types. You have your answer key right there. This episode of Breaking Down the Best If You Have the Gold Plan is available ad-free right there. It's also available on YouTube with ads. And you also have access to McCarthy Math 155. So, McCarthy Math 155 is a daily math intervention that's aligned to the Common Core standards. Now we're in the BEST standards in Florida, but there is a lot that does a lot of skill videos that you can use to help you. So while there's nothing for true and false equations in McCarthy Math 155, there is a lot of multiplication practice and a lot of division practice. I'm clicking on the division unit, and you can see all of these are video lessons that walk students through strategies for multiplication and division. Okay, so if you have students who are struggling with multiplication and division, these are a great tool to use to get them up to speed with what they need for this standard 2.2. Okay, all right, I think that's everything. I love the whole true-false element of this standard, and I hope that you get to have fun with it. And before you go, let me remind you that what you choose to do with your life every day, it really does matter. Thank you so much for all that you do for your students. I know it's a huge responsibility. It's exhausting. It's an overwhelming career, but it matters and it's worth it. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you for inviting me into your world. I do appreciate that. And I know you have a lot to do, so I'm gonna let you go. And I'll see you next time, all right? Bye. Okay, so I know that I just said goodbye for now, but I'm gonna ask you to do one more thing, okay? If you enjoyed this episode, please consider sharing it with your teacher friends or other leaders in education. That's how I get to continue doing what I love to do, which of course is supporting you all to the best of my ability. All right, for real now. Bye.